Twisted Fate has almost always been banned every single game. And now we're
Toys. I mean, Toys is fantastic. Toys is such a strong mid player, and he's been making plays all tournament. And I definitely see Twisted Fate, as someone that he probably excels at because, like you said, he's banned all the time. But Little Ball's not getting the Alistar. This is the first time this entire qualifier that they've banned Alistar against them, and it's always been so astounding because he always starts off like 6-0 or something in the game. So Skarner instead.
But let's get the bans done real quick here. WhyTrollMe banning out Morgana, Alistar, and Malphite. The Assassins banning out Shen, Nocturne, Aurelia. You know, the TF wasn't even like TF was actually like a middle of the road pick. Ezreal was actually the first pick.
Oh, they have Galio kind of picked off here.
There's the yellow card, keeping him stunned up against the wall. Has no choice but to flash over the wall. Gets caught in the invade. Successful for the Assassins. The last pick for Assassins is actually Olaf. TF was picked with Skarner in the second series of picks. So I'm surprised. Taipei Assassins did not immediately take TF, but WhyTrollMe, I guess their mid just doesn't play him.
Yeah, I think they were probably, setting back, if their mid doesn't play him, but probably setting back a second to try and see, who WhyTrollMe is kind of picking, because there are some comps that TF would, kind of struggle against. There's a number of mid champions that can do very well against him. Galio does pretty well, but TF can just farm fine, so it's not that big of a deal.
What other champs actually do pretty well against TF?
Like Ari, for example, those kind of assassin champions can just crush TF in lane. You want to usually push him to the tower, but you want that quick kill potential, and he's a short-range champion, so Vigard does really well against him. Usually you're not going to, pick TF and then expect a counter pick in the mid, but if they have too tanky of a team, or if they have, if they already set up like with stronger laners than you, then maybe it would be kind of difficult to run TF because you're not going to get early kills. We'll have to see. It's a pretty nice matchup for TF right now. So they have a lot of kill potential in their lanes. Riven is an extremely aggressive jungler, so they're going to have to watch out for that. But because of Riven's aggression, TF can kind of counter that out some as long as Skarner has the mobility around the map. And Skarner is a pretty fast jungler, and he also has the movement speed. So as long as he keeps an eye on Riven, then TF comes into the mix. It could be a gank for Riven that turns into a 3v2 situation for TPA.
And you see Riven usually, it's not too uncommon to see a level 2 gank, and TF is actually pushed up pretty far. But instead, going to be playing it safe, grabbing the wolves and grabbing the blue. Skarner actually been playing it safe as well. No level 2 ganks from him either. He's going actually going to the small golems first before he goes for the red.
Yeah, that's actually kind of a surprising path. I haven't seen that in a while, but he will hit level 3, I believe. I don't remember because they had nerfed all the experience a long time ago, but I believe he'll hit level 3 off of these mini golems. Yes, he will. And so then he can still continue jungling, but I think that means that he's going to delay his red. So he could go red next. But I guess he's going to go red next. Yeah, now his smite's up. Yeah. So it stalls for his smite. I was kind of wondering whether or not he would go back to wolves and just do another full clear before getting red and just delay his red.
Man, that's the thing too. If you do wolves first, you go to blue and then you go straight on into raise. So it takes a little bit longer for that smite to come back up. But and usually, if you're going wolves then to blue, sometimes it's a little indication you want to have some lane presence. You might want to go for an early gank, then continue on the rest of your path. But there you go. Little Ball is actually getting in position. Top lane, Renekton's a little bit far out, but there is no ward coverage either. But recommendations coming from Stanley that Little Balls may need to back it this time. Renekton has already decided to go on back. What's he pick up for himself? Wards. Good, because he's going to be needing them.
Yeah, so that's definitely the case. We'll see. I think for the most part, Skarner's going to play kind of defensively until level 6, and then he'll be looking for kills. Mid lane, not really going to happen. Galio is just such a defensive laner, so that's not really where they're looking. But with TF and Skarner, they can definitely put a lot of pressure on the top and bottom lane. Riven, in the meantime, setting up bottom, but they have the ward. They can see her out, so they're going to be fine.
Renekton now also returning to top lane, but there's also a ward right there in the blue entrance, spotting him out on his way, traveling back up through the river. Does get a ward in the Tribrush top lane as well, and right now Urgot getting a little bit of chunk damage onto Urgot. Onto Ezreal for Wolfar.
Riven mid.
And he also got Riven mid here. We might actually have something to fail flash over. Toys is a little bit trapped here. Could be in a pretty dangerous spot. Yellow card keeping Galio still. There you go. One more smack. There you go. That is the first blood.
And go back. Renekton did die top. He just barely went down. And Little Ball is coming up. Recognize, okay, Renekton dropped a ward over in the Tribrush, so he's able to come up on him. They have the double slow with the axes and with the Skarner. And so they run in, get the ignite from Olaf, and get out of there. Then switch right back to bottom real quick. And we have actually a fight going on bottom as Urgot is trying to get some damage off of the Ezreal in the backside and just barely escaping as well with his life.
And Jana, or yeah, Urgot's getting low, Jana's getting
Until
low.
then.
There you go, the flash stun coming in from Leona. Very well done, very well coordinated. Ezreal going to be taking that one to the bank.
But Riven chasing down Olaf in the top lane. He is very low, just barely getting out of her range.
So then Skarner returning on back to the jungle, looking to farm up. Just like, had a free turret shot there for Ezreal. That's going to hurt. He's going to have to go back after that one. But also, there's a lot of wards very early on for WhyTrollMe. They got pretty much the entire river covered here. So they should be relatively safe unless Skarner wants to go the long way around through their own jungle.
Yeah, we'll see whether or not Lil Balls a little bit later in this game picks up in early oracles, because that is something we've seen from him a lot in the past. Usually with Skarner, you want to rush a Philosopher's Stone, so I expect that's where he's going to go now, or at the very least get himself going. Nope, there it is, the Philosopher's Stone. So, with that, later on, you can build into the Shurelya's, which is, really standard on Skarner. Having that movement speed burst initiation to try and pick someone off is just huge, and they want that map control. They want to be able to snowball early, but they're down 1 kill right now. Not really that big of a deal. We'll see how it progresses. The lanes are fairly even. Bot lane, there's an Ezreal Leona kill lane, which is just so much burst damage. It's really easy to pick up kills there. But Urgot and Jana are generally, pretty safe, and they can duel very exceptionally well. And we've talked about this in the past. The shields do stack in an unusual way, where Urgot will get both the slow and the attack damage regardless. In the meantime, Riven's setting up in this top lane.
There you go. Olaf's in a little bit of trouble. Riven's coming on in with the Qs, waiting for the stun. There it is. And right now, it's nothing really warranting.
Yeah, but Skarner is here as well,
yes,
so he might be sitting around seeing if they go in for that dive so he can come in from behind. Nothing's really happening, so he's going to sit off in this bush, but Riven is actually walking right into him, so they're going to have a bit of a duel, and he actually sees him just walking right past.
Yeah, just want to make sure, okay, you're no longer a factor in this fight. You are out, you're clear, you're away. And now it's time that something may actually happen.
But TF coming up top.
TF is 6. There it goes. He's porting on in. The stun card going down onto Renekton. He's taking a lot of damage. The Ignite goes down as well. The stun from Riven, keeping everyone still. But will you die again, Renekton? Yes. There we go. Auto tech from Toys. Does manage to get it, but Galio is here just in time with the ultimate, keeping everyone taunted. And right now TF's taking a whole bunch of damage. Riven, will you be able to get out of here? No.
Oh, the jukes from Little Balls getting away from Galio. He's going to try and get out of there, but the stun from TF. Olaf is chasing him down. He has the axis. Just keep chasing. You have the kill. So he's going to be able to pick that up.
Easy. Very well done. Very well done. And also see that minion walking through that brush for that's a little indication that yes, that brush was warded. Unfortunately, it's not anymore, but that may make SD Assassins a little bit paranoid about that bush and the warding.
Yeah, I'm not sure whether or not they saw the ward die. I'm guessing they did, but that'd be kind of interesting. But regardless, they all of a sudden a 4-2 swap, and that's the big thing with TF is how quickly you can win those exchanges. They have really strong dueling lanes, so Olaf is he's really strong at surviving ganks and just winning those kind of 2v1 matchups. So when TF comes in, he knows that Olaf isn't going to die instantly. Urgot and Jana, they're not going to die instantly to Ezreal and Leona. So you don't want to have squishy lanes that die before you get in there or die while you're porting, and then you're like just sitting around. You're like, wow, this sucks. But in the meantime, everything's going pretty well. Ezreal has a slight advantage in farm over Urgot in this bottom lane, but Bebe's doing a pretty good job. He's positioning himself well so that he can start being ready to compete in this mid game. And actually, he is going to have his ultimate soon, and Lil Balls is setting up in this lane, so they might have a swap into a Skarner ult. Shortly.
That would be a pretty sexy combo, and a lot of things too with the agency is ult synergy and skill synergy.
Oh, but Leona jumping in.
Leona getting in, the stun down onto Jana, but she will flash out of there, hopefully to safety. And there's a Skarner pull, keeping Ezreal out of the fight. There you go. Now Leona is in a full retreat. The 3-pointers coming in, but they got the kill. They got what they wanted.
Yeah, really nice play, and that's just the big thing. Skarner was ready for it. Real Iron doing a nice job coming in and stealing those race while Skarner was out of position. So, but still, it's a nice job. You're keeping an eye on the map. Olaf is coming down actually and checking the red because he doesn't want to allow Riven to steal it. So really nice play by Stanley here, recognizing that Riven had a small window, kind of opportunity to try and get that done.
And that's the best. That's the one thing you really need to keep an eye out to if you're playing jungle or if you want to counter jungle. You have to have a nice indication of how long it takes for someone to actually travel from a lane to a specific point on the map. And Riven had enough time to go ahead and steal Wraith, steal a Wraith or two, but buffs take a little bit longer of a time commitment, and good indication on WhyTrollMe to just take the best advantage of their time.
Yeah, so we'll have to see, what WhyTrollMe is going to kind of do to stop this from stop this game from moving into Taipei Assassin's position. Mostly, if they just play defensively, then they have lanes that should be pretty safe to these kind of TF ganks. Renekton underneath his tower can 2v1 all day, so that's not going to be that big of a deal. Galio as well is extremely tanky. Bot lane, they have enough disables and survivability where they should be okay. So the big thing is just not allowing Taipei Assassins to bully them around while they're playing defensively. And then, when they group up in the mid game, they have enough AoE and they have enough quick burst damage that they should do pretty well in fights. But Taipei Assassins, they have a really tanky team. They have a lot of sustained damage. They have Olaf and TF both with that kind of long range poke. So their team fighting potential is very strong as well.
But Renekton hiding under tower though is getting pretty chunked out by Olaf. He's splitting his resources between his axes and his reckless swing, so he's got pretty good damage capabilities as well. But the Ignite for Stanley is back up.
Oh, but Skarner in the bottom lane trying to get that Urgot swap, just barely out of range. So Ezreal and Leona are able to back off. Really nice job from them. Almost going down. Riven did make his way, down towards the bottom lane to try and get in position if Skarner continued.
TF returning to the mid as well. Ult is now back up, so if any lanes present that kind of opportunity for a gank, he will be there. But right now, Skarner hanging around bot lane just a little bit, looking for opportunities. Dragon is still an available objective as well. Who's getting chunked out? It's Renekton. He's being dove right now. There's the ult pop under tower. Olaf, he's trying to duel, taking a lot of shots from the tower. Will he? No. One more tower shot would have actually done it,
but Galio and Riven
are actually on their way. Galio trying to make his way on in. There is no flash on Olaf. He only has the ghost, and he used it already. It's going to be a very, very rough time to try and get out of a situation
very surprised that Riven used a flash there. So, she got the kill, but she had already marked him. He was stuck on their side of the fence, so it wasn't really a great situation for them. In the meanwhile, Toy's getting some nice harass, or getting some nice poke damage on that mid turret, and then Skarner stealing the race. So, Riven is top. This actually was probably a decent opportunity for them to take Dragon, but I think they're a little bit concerned with the AoE with both Leona and Galio, that they might quickly lose that fight and Ezreal will be able to clean up. So they didn't really want to force it.
Yeah, Ezreal ult is also up as well. You got the Leona ult with the ult up, and that could have been a really bad situation in that small, close quarter position.
Yeah, so we'll see, what Taipei Assassins does to continue the pressure in this game. Little Balls doesn't have that Oracles yet, but it would definitely make sense coming up to have that in order to, keep this aggression that they want around the map and not allow, WhyTrollMe to ward out. And so we'll see if he gets that shortly. He is setting up in the bottom lane again, and the ultimate is up for Bebe, so we could see a swap here.
Yep. He's been standing around bot lane for a while, but here comes Riven as well. So there's a counter gank going on at the moment. There is the attempt at the swap. The Ezreal ult going down. TF is ulting in, and Galio is here too with the teleport. Gets in with the ult. Ezreal's the first one to go down, but will anyone with PB actually go down here as well? Yes, there goes Urgot. Riven wants some more damage, but it's 1 for 1.
Yeah, it's a decent exchange, and the teleport on Galio is definitely a really nice play because you don't want to give up those quick fights. If he hadn't come down there very quickly, that would have turned against them. Taipei Assassins would pick up 3 kills pretty easily. So really nice job from them. Little Ball is going to be picking up the experience in the mid lane, but they are starting to ping both teams that Dragon. So wouldn't be surprised to see a Dragon fight shortly. And Galio, he's just so disruptive. It's going to be interesting to see how TPA deals with him later because TF is a very short-range champion, so he's going to be right in that, AoE for Galio.
About half of the health on top turret was actually chunked out by Olaf, while everyone was just kind of, away doing their thing. The post gank little scuffle. Everyone was going out, returning to mid, returning back to their lanes. Good damage coming in top lane. And also, Olaf, the harass is sufficient enough to really keep Renekton in check at this point. But you see, he's leaving lane quite a bit to go help out with objectives. I think he's actually taking the wolves right now, too. Yeah, then it's usually, if you have a top laner going through and, taking the jungle creeps, it's kind of like an indication, like, okay, I'm a little bit behind. I can't really push against this champion, otherwise I'm going to get chunked out so hard. It's, he's very content farming at his own tower at the moment.
Yeah, we'll have to see how this game kind of progresses, but WhyTrollMe, they have, a kind of a high physical damage team, and all of their champions, Renekton, Riven, Ezreal, those are champions that do very well in 1v1 situations. So if Galio and Leona, if they can, burst fights and just kind of, I don't know, create a lot of disorder, then they should be okay. They'll, very easily with all their mobility be able to chase down champions like TF, in order to get in range and shut him down. So we'll have to see. I mean, TPA, they really are going to need to be careful as fights start to progress. But in the meantime, Stanley just doing an awesome job in this top lane. And Renekton is a pretty even matchup for Olaf. Olaf has a slight advantage, but Renekton can basically lane against anyone and win the lane, or at the very least go even. So for Stanley to just be constantly abusing him is really nice.
Yeah, but in order to be even in the lane, you have to be staying in the lane, which Renekton has unfortunately not really been doing. He's got his mission, he's got his objective, and he's not really leaving to try and get any other objectives. Yeah,
he's so tanky at this point. Having the double gold per 10 and then 2 Doran shields, I've actually never seen that.
Which is actually going to help out immensely, too, when you get to the later team fights, because like you said, most of WhyTrollMe is, well, actually, pretty much all of WhyTrollMe's damage is physical here. So that's definitely going to carry on later, and not to mention Urgot, he's going to naturally be building in the Glacial Shroud into the Frozen Heart. A Randuin's from Skarner would actually be even more amazing for this as well. So there's, once the later item builds come out, like, WhyTrollMe may actually just be straight out shut out.
Yeah, so in the meantime, Taipei Assassins, for the most part, they're going to be comfortable with just holding on to the laning phase because they want to open up those opportunities for TF. TF, has been farming exceptionally well at this point, so his damage is definitely going to be there. And, TF is one of those excellent farmers, so just constantly pushing and clearing waves. We'll have to see, what they kind of make happen from that, but I don't know. I think the big key is trying to exploit that bottom lane. But so far, WhyTrollMe, they've been playing nice and defensively and not allowing TPA to get these opportunities, which is exactly what they need to do. And as a result, the lead hasn't really expanded for TPA at all. Yeah. It's still, sitting around 4K.
Those last few fights were just pretty much even trades, which, in a bad situation, that's really the best outcome you can have. At least, you have a kill, you give up a kill. At least nothing's spiraling out of control at that point during those fights.
So in the meantime, Skarner starting to make his way up top. They actually might tower dive this because Olaf has been doing pretty well. Both Skarner and Olaf can tank towers pretty easily.
Brush Lil Balls, he's going to see him.
Yeah,
I'm not sure if Renekton did, though.
Renekton actually just walked out of the bush, but he was already making his way down bottom. Yeah. Skarner, saw him, let him just get out of there, so he's going to be safe. Riven making the way down bottom.
Also spotted Ward and Tribrush right over here.
So both teams, really nice warding, are very safe, which is why it's kind of surprising that we haven't seen that Oracles yet. But Olaf able to take that turret, which is why Renekton was backing. The turret was going down. Just get out of there before it goes down because it opens up those opportunities for those kills. The ward from Skarner over by the blue, so they can steal that. That should be up around 19 minutes, so they will be able to come by then.
And both teams are warding pretty well, but the thing is, though, the Assassin's warding is just immensely deeper into enemy territory, which gives them a little bit more information than what most wards usually would. And they have so much pressure going down in top. They have great pressure going on in pretty much every lane, actually. TS been pushing like a boss. Urgot and Jan have been throwing their weight around, and now they're really effectively getting that harass down. Just those long missiles coming in addition to the Janus shield, just do so much damage to Ezreal right now.
They're just not tanky, or they're just too tanky for Ezreal and Leona to try and go for that kill combo. As a result, they're able to harass them around. TPA going for the dragon. They're going to be able to take this fairly easily. No one's really pressuring it. Renekton is pushing top, so he's going to be able to get, or should be able to get that tower. Oh, it's actually pretty high.
He's gotten no damage on this thing so far, actually. So even
he should be able to get it though. It's going to be a long time before someone gets up there.
There's another creep wave coming by. It's halfway done. He's got plenty of time right now. The Assassins aren't really making too much of an issue out of it. And Dragon for tower, that's not the worst, really the worst trade in the world. Oh, Janna actually picking up the Oracle, so that's going to be helping out immensely for the Assassins.
Yeah, as long as she can get around. The issue is that usually if you're playing the support, you're not going to be mobile enough to clear wards across the map. But because they want their kills to be happening in the bottom lane, that's not that much of a concern. Right. So Janna can just clear all the wards around bottom lane. That'll open up opportunities for Skarner to make his way down bottom. And Riven has awards as well, oracles as well. So they can both, kind of clear out some wards. The big thing is WhyTrollMe, they know, all right, top tower's down, bottom tower's almost down. TF had gotten some damage on mid tower as well, and if they start losing towers quickly, and Taipei Assassins has wards in their jungle, then that opens up opportunities for Taipei Assassins to just jump in, try and pick up some quick kills. And so as a result, Riven needs to get that Oracles and deny that map presence.
Yeah, mid is about like 1/5
Urgot's
health. Get
very
really
close to getting the swap, though.
He's got it. He's got the swap. Skarner has the ult. Skarner's got it. So this could be very ugly in just a moment. Just looking to push up the wave, get in position, just so Skarner can go ahead and get into the second bush and get everything ready, prepped, and primed. But the Assassins, they're kind of like they're playing it very nonchalantly. They're just sticking around, getting those last hits. Actually, they're trying to bait them in here.
The big issue is that Ezreal has enough mobility that Urgot can't flash ult, which is something that you would normally see at this point against a weaker AD. But because Ezreal can get out of there, they need Urgot to just be able to pull him right next to Skarner. But in the meantime, Riven is coming up. Riven has the Oracles, and so is going to be moving in. Leona with the ultimate, but they are able to get out of there. So Taipei Assassins can reset the lane. But the teleport actually from Galio, they should be okay, though. They'll be able to get out of there, but they will lose their turret.
I don't agree with that teleport. I mean, it was really not in the middle of a fight. He just kind of wasted there. He just wanted to get the position, the fight wasn't going on.
Yeah, particularly since they're tanky enough where they could wait until maybe TF ults in, and then Galio ults in, or teleports in once again.
Well, that's
so
what they did last time. That's exactly what they did last time. It was pretty much simultaneous TF ult.
Yeah, but Olaf able to take down the mid tower, and he has a Sunfire cape actually, so he is incredibly tanky and all of that pressure. But actually, Galio flashing in on top of Taipei Assassins in the bottom lane. The Urgot swap mistake almost going down, and Bebe will drop, but TF is in here, and actually Skarner trying to pick up the kill does grab Ezreal, but TF has to back off for a second. Lil Balls is pretty tanky, so he is surviving a little bit longer than you would expect, and actually able to get out of there.
Leona is still out in front, though. Does get the quick stun onto TF. The yellow card in response following the flash away, but here comes Olaf looking to clean up on pretty much everybody. Another stand going down. Double kill for the Olaf, but Renekton is so hard. He's got the ultimate, but he is stunned, stopped in place. Triple kill for the Olaf.
Yeah,
Can
awesome
you connect
job coming
here?
in.
Galio, he is still under tower. Oh, yeah, nice stuff. Nice stuff coming in from the Assassins.
Yeah, so Stanley with the cleanup, and it's just really nice safe play, and a number of them were low, a number of them could easily have gone down, but constant positioning from TPA in these fights has it allows them to win those fights where maybe they shouldn't, maybe they pick up one kill and then they kind of go down, but they're constantly working on positioning so that WhyTrollMe, they have to have a really monumental effort in order to chase these champions down. So really nice job from them. They now have a 10k gold lead in this game. TF actually going with that Quicksilver Sash, which is actually a great decision because Galio is just going to wreck him, and that's Galio and Leona. That has been an issue for TF. The fact that TF is pretty short range, if they flash ult, then he's just going to die, and they lose out on all so much magic damage, and they would really struggle without TF going if TF goes down quickly. So you saw that last fight. TF was live, the entire fight, and he was just able to constantly poke in with the wild cards, constantly spam those stuns, and it's such a short cooldown, a 4-second cooldown on the stun when you have full cooldown reduction. So, yeah, as long as they keep TF alive, they can win those fights.
Well, there's just a boatload of stuns, actually, for WhyTrollMe. You got the Galio taunt. You have stun on Renekton and Riven and on Leona. It just makes sense, really, I think, at this point.
Yeah, and it's really interesting when you look at TF because he's such a non-standard AP carry that, later in the game, he kind of goes one of two ways. He can either be absolutely terrible, and a lot of times you look at TF and you're like, oh, they're weak in fights because of TF, or he can be absolutely phenomenal because he has that spam ability. He has constant, harass damage and constant stuns. Skarner, watching out for the team while they're taking this tower. He does see the enemy response there, so they will be okay for a second. But actually, Renekton almost walking in, will throw off the ultimate, and there's the ult baited out, so that's perfect for Taipei Assassins.
So now TrollMe, they have to play defensive. They have to be at their own tower. They know how much damage the Assassins are capable of. And I think, yeah, they're just sitting around. They're waiting around the corner, seeing if they can't bait out something. Bait out either, a check at blue or even a wander over to Baron to try and get some wards. They're just sitting here. They're just waiting because they know eventually someone has to come by their way. Mistake going into the Baron pit. Ooh, there we go. There was the Ezreal ult aimed directly at the Baron. So I think that's TrollMe. That's what their first indication is. They're doing Baron right now.
Yeah, it's really interesting. They have to suspect that they're going to be pressuring Baron, but they're not even defending it. So Taipei Assassins expecting them to defend it, and they're just not setting up.
Yeah.
TF is going to be, going down to the mid, so they will have that. But as a result, Taipei Assassins, they probably could have taken the Baron. They have a pretty strong Baron team with the Olaf, and with the Skarner. So I don't know. They just kind of sit back, don't grab it.
So now, well, actually, now that they're deciding, well, if we got in position expecting him to defend Baron. And I think it's pretty safe to assume that they're just not gonna defend it no matter what. So you might as well stick around and take it, and that's exactly what they're doing. Toys is also in the mid. He's playing the sitting duck roles. Like, oh, I'm here, I'm mid, I'm defending and farming. The rest of my team is totally not taking Baron. By the way, we got Baron.
Yeah, and he uses his ultimate just to keep that last second vision of them. But the big thing with going mid, actually they're chasing after him.
There's a slowdown and a Riven plus everything they need. There's the Impale. Swap is also down, though. But, Riven should be going down pretty quick. A little bit hasty on all those ultimates. But Little Balls is actually going to get caught out here. There's the Galio taunt. There's keeping everyone still, but I don't think TrollMe has the damage. Olaf is just so tanky, and he's got the ult up. There you go. Got Urgot killing the Leona. Janna goes down as well. You still got... Where's TF? TF isn't even in this fight yet. He's just chicking around. He's making an appearance.
Yeah.
Ezreal, will you go down? Wow, Urgot just managing to stick it out. Galio, 83 health. Oh, man. There you go. Olaf, can he make something happen? He doesn't have the ghost up. It's like one axe, one throw. Missile into dark. That works too. Oh, wow. So that was an interesting fight. But the thing is, though, the Assassins essentially winning 4v5. TF wasn't really even there until just so much later on.
Yeah, that's how strong they are at this point. And the big thing with what Toys was doing was by constantly pushing the mid lane, it wasn't that he was like, sitting there and trying to bait them in where they'd be like, oh, TF is there, all right. By pushing the mid lane, you keep vision because the enemy is either going to, one, let the minions go to the tower. If it goes to the tower, that means that they're probably heading up to Baron. Or two, they're going to sit there and, counter push against TF. So they were counter pushing. They knew they were safe. They're able to grab the Baron. They're able to easily win the fight with the vision that TF gave them, getting the slow from Janna. They have so much mobility with the Janna movement speed passive. Skarner has a lot of mobility that they can, pick off these champions. Even though they don't have long range initiation, they have, that kind of short range burst. So we'll see how that's going to continue working. Ezreal is down bot. Everyone's kind of making their way down bottom, and Janna just trying to clear some wards in the meantime so that they can continue this push. Yeah, oh, she actually doesn't have the oracles. That's right. She lost it.
She did die in that last fight, but I think at this point though it's kind of it's really negligible. They're pushing so well. They've already got TrollMe on the ropes, and TrollMe can't even really leave their base at this point because the critical people, the critical damage dealers, still have their Baron buff for a good minute 45, minute and a half. So the push is really just going to keep continuing on. Stanley still got his Baron buff as well. Mid-tower, mid-tier 2 should be going down just in a second. And everyone from TrollMe, they're just on hardcore defense mode here.
Yeah, and one more fight for Taipei Assassins could easily win this. They could just push right through the base. So they need to play really defensively right here. Galio can stall for a little bit, so that is kind of a benefit. But if there's like an Urgot swap over the wall, then very quickly they could win a fight. They have the ward up there. They're just constantly pushing back and forth between the mid and bottom lane. So being able to pressure those two lanes very easily, they can pull WhyTrollMe out of position.
TF getting whatever chunk damage he can on the tower while the rest of the team is playing a good distraction game. Mid, there's a little bit of a wave coming, so TF's going to go ahead and deal with that. But right now, this is prime target number 1, tier 3 in bot. Everyone is here to defend it from TrollMe. Galio should be there shortly, but I think everyone's a little bit split, though. They're scared to engage. There's Renekton popping the ult, Janna ult. In response, everyone's safe. Everyone's fine. Leona ult, not getting too much there.
Oh, but
TF
the swap from Urgot.
Swap from Urgot. Everyone's in a huge, big cluster. This is not where they want to be, but the Urgot, Galio ult, keeping everybody still. Renekton on the back line. Riven goes down. Galio's going to be going down shortly, and so will Leona. Stanley cleaning up everything. That is the double kill for Skarner and for Olaf. And that's pretty much the ace and more than likely game here.
Yeah, they should be able to push the Nexus here very easily. They get the inhibitor and then they'll transition to it. But Renekton chasing down TF, trying to pick up the kill there, just couldn't grab it. So just barely not able to get that. Here's the Nexus. They're pushing it down really aggressively. Yep. They should be able to get this. There's plenty of time. So Taipei Assassins wins game number 1. And it's astounding to me that Renekton with all the effort that's being placed on TF, so the Galio ult, Leona ult, Renekton chasing him down, he gets the Quicksilver Sash off, he's able to get out of there, and Renekton just wasted his whole time. Like, Toys was able to kite him very easily, didn't even go down, while the rest of his team was doing well. They didn't quite have enough damage to deal with these tanky matchups. Olaf was incredibly strong at that point, and so as a result, they're able to win the 4v4 with Renekton and TF kind of dueling off on the side.
Yeah, the weird thing about Renekton too is that we mentioned earlier about the lane matchup.
Yep.
And it's somewhat even, but the thing is though Renekton kept on losing. He kept on leaving.
Yep.
He kept on leaving lane. He wanted to have presence in mid. He wanted to have presence elsewhere. He was taken to jungle creeps, and all that time gone. Olaf's not going to leave lane. He's just going to stick around. He's just going to farm. He's going to go ahead and extend his lead while you're not around.
Yeah, but he had such an early lead that Renekton almost couldn't stay in lane with him. It was just it was a real struggle for him, and Olaf was able to abuse him. He has the true damage, which does very well against Renekton. Just the constant harass. Every time Renekton would try and come in and farm, Renekton has the regen where usually that'd be a little bit more of an even lane because Renekton can exchange damage and then kind of dash out of there, regen a little bit, but Olaf was able to get that early lead and then abuse the front line.
Yeah, so that's game number 1. Taipei Assassins are up 1-0. They just need one more, and they're actually going to move on to the championship round. We're going to do a quick commercial break, and we'll be right back, continuing the champ bracket for IPL5 Taiwan qualifiers.